there, gang. For today, I have probably what is currently my quickiest of Quickie highlights to date. This was a very, very short match that I played using a viewer-requested build. Typically, people who come by my stream, if they either gift subscriptions or use channel points, I'll play a build for you. This was a Kaneki build by, according to one of my viewers. They don't play Clown, but they wanted to see basically how I, as a very vested Clown player, would perform with it. And we have Discordance, Pain Resonance, Blood Favor, and Undying. Now, typically, I don't like running Blood Favor with Undying because Clown already doesn't have a whole lot in his kit, and I feel like doubling up your Blood Favor doesn't provide you a whole lot overall by comparison to, say, taking a different perk and relying on the fact that you're going to lose Blood Favor at some point. So getting as much value out as you can from it out of the early game, that's typically, in my opinion, the best approach or perspective for looking at Blood Favor. I typically like to refer to Blood Favor as an aggressive corrupt intervention. Normally with Corrupt Intervention, you're trying to stall early generator completion for your very first chase. Blood Favor is the opposite. You're letting the generators go, but you're going to have a much faster chase, and even better, if they don't cleanse the Blood Favor, you can get a whole lot out of it beyond that. However, if they do cleanse the Blood Favor, right, well, then you're basically losing Blood Favor in the exact same period that you would lose Corrupt Intervention. Except, again, your first chase comes a lot quicker, you get your pressure when it comes to hook stages and macro pressure a whole lot sooner, and that's kind of why I like running Blood Favor by itself. So running it with Undying did kind of leave me a little bit skeptical when it comes to this build on Clown. However, what y'all are going to see is a match on a map where the fact that not only did I have Blood Favor, but as well also having Undying, it was game-changing. It was definitively the reason why I won this match so quickly. I'm not going to spoil why it happened, but afterward, there's definitely going to be a whole lot to say when it comes to the map, because while this build was really good for creating that fast win, I do feel like if the map that we played on were different, not only would it have not been as impactful, but because of that, I think it puts on display the problem with the map itself. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, we'll talk more about it after the match. Honestly, dude, I'm about to probably just like, if I'm getting sent to randomly RPD, we might just take a, what's it called? We'll see how it goes. I don't have my game volume on, so forgive me for being behind anyways, but I'll redo your request if I don't play this match out. But RPD is a notorious map where I just lose my patience and I get bored and I just don't play, so. I wonder if he's got Medal of Man. We don't have to worry about necessarily, what's it called, someone over here. I guess we'll just have to, we do have Blood Favor, so. Probably waited a bit too early, but she doesn't really want to take that hit either. You know, maybe I could have just walked through it now that I think about it. This is actually wild, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I've got progress on every single one of my fucking generators, it feels like, dude. Yeah, no, matches like maps like these, man, I'm sorry. Oh, they got Blood Favor already. Well, that's technically Undying. He's gonna make it all the way to a pallet here. Fucking wild that you can literally just run forward. Fucking ridiculous, dude. He definitely has. I don't want to say definitely. It could be because he has the medkit, right? The medkit could be the reason why that he's taking the body block. But there's just a likelihood that that is the case too, you know? Ooh, what the fuck? I did get the sprint burst out of the way. Can I help you? By the way, if they didn't have base kit reassurance, this is an easy second stage. If they didn't have base kit reassurance, base kit deliverance. But then again, this may just be an outright throw into a win if they play like this. We do have Blood Favor. Oh my gosh, I just have to fucking get caught on something, man. Get the fuck out of here, dude. GG's. They send us here? No, they didn't. We're in a chance. I'm not picking that up. Oh, hell no. Thankfully, she is close enough to the hook where I can reasonably stand right here without concern. I feel like if she had Unbreakable, she would have used it by now. So I'm gonna go for Sable. Bot does hit second. That's all I need to know. I don't have to worry about the bot doing anything. Blood Favor definitely did. Without Blood Favor, we didn't have a chance of probably winning the... You gotta be fucking kidding me, dude. This is why you just leave people slugged and bled out, man. Oh, hold on. Thank you. Should have a hook right over here. Imagine if I ate a DS there. That would have been wild. I'm gonna pull back a bit. I'm gonna kick this generator for good measure. Get my rift progress. If she stays under the pallet, I'll just Mori her. Oh, wait. Because she should die sooner. And then that will allow me to, yeah. Yeah, no, Blood Favor won us this game. This is literally only Blood Favor, pretty much. Well, technically Undying. Yeah, no, we can't just say it's only Blood Favor when they got a Totem Cleanse. So it's Blood Favor and Undying that won us this game. Although, in a way, obviously, without Blood Favor, Undying wouldn't have, you know, but that's splitting the hairs, I think, too unfairly. Survivors like this, by the way, they can abandon, I think, too, can't they? Purposefully wasting my time. This is wild. Yeah, man. Because I'm not picking her up, I'm mooring her because I'm not risking power struggle. Yeah, no hatches right there. It's RPD, I'm gonna take my 4K. Oh, look, he was doing his thing, yeah. Look at that. Yeah, we said there was a good chance. I just thought there was also, I mean, the most, what would they call that, right? It just seemed most practical that he just, someone who likes playing Ashe with a medkit, but yeah, he actually was doing his adept, okay. So for those that haven't heard me give the speech before, I really, really hate RPD. A lot. Like, not only is it a bad map for Clown, but it is not a fun map to play on is Clown. The chases are not engaging. A lot of what you're going to see when you play Clown on this map against good survivors is they're either going to pre-run, so they're not even within line of sight. You don't even start a chase while you're actively in chase. You're not able to preset or use your bottles because everything is just a bunch of these jagged hallways and turns. And the pallets that you otherwise will reach when you're going against survivors, most of the time, they are borderline unplayable. They block a hallway, they block a pathway. They're conveniently placed in a way where survivors can drop that pallet and then go to another another one of its kind. And it means that Clown just isn't able to keep up when it comes to macro pressure, because by the time you do get your chases in and you do down survivors, well, you're going to have a broken 3-gen, you're going to be down multiple generators per chase, it's not going to be equivocable when it comes to pressure, right? Hooks per gens. And that's kind of why it's just not fun to play, because not only are you going to lose, but your chases aren't very fun, nor are they good. And it's why at the start of the match, I was basically pre-warning my viewers, especially the person who gifted the build, you know, if I end up not playing this match out, I'll do your build again. Because yes, there have been multiple times where I just don't play the match out. I get on RPD, I give it a fair like couple of minutes, but when I'm going 2 to 3 minutes without a single hook and survivors are just pre-pathing almost as if they have windows of opportunity, even though they don't, because you don't need it because the pallets are guaranteed spawns every single time, well then it's kind of like, what am I doing? You know, I signed on with Clown to get chases and have fun. You know, I'm not playing Nurser Blight, etc. And it's like I'm here on my worst map, not even able to have chases. We just take the next, you know, they win, right? That's my approach to it. I stop playing, they win. And I was just kind of basically possibly preparing for that. I didn't expect that we actually would get such game-changing value from Blood Favor. And that's my point. This map is so widely imbalanced, both with the palette design and just the tiles themselves, that because we had a perk which just stops them from throwing the pallets, we won in 3 minutes. Really put that into perspective. We are talking about a killer who normally excels at playing pre-drop pallets, except the pallets are so absurd and disgusting in their design that even Clown can't play them pre-dropped. So how does Clown actually beat survivors, let alone quickly? He just stops them from using them. That is just so ridiculous to me. Really drive that in. This map is so absurd in its palette design that any other chase perk you could run on Clown fails in comparison by exponential means because of the fact that it doesn't matter if you lunge farther with Q, it doesn't matter if you have 5% haste, etc. from Rapid Brutality, they're still making it to these pallets. They're still going to drop these pallets. You're not going to have a way to play these pallets when they're dropped. You're going to have to kick them. They're going to chain off of them to another pallet. You're going to lose 2 generators in the process. This is routine. This is expected every single time, especially when you factor in, again, what I said about pre-running and the influence it has on your chase times. So the way that you win is you stop them from throwing the pallets. That is the only way we would have won this match so quickly as we did. And I'll even go as far as to say that, again, if we didn't have Undying, I would not have won this match as soon as I did, because we lost Blood Favor in our very first chase. When we were going after Gabe, and while Blood Favor did a lot to push him away from that staircase, we lost it when he was in that small little room. And that meant that any other chase afterward, without Undying, we wouldn't have had Blood Favor to deny them from throwing that staircase pallet again. It was, I believe, 2, possibly 3 instances where they really wanted to pre-drop that pallet at the top of the staircase, and they could not do it because we either had pallet possession or Blood Favor blocked them from being able to do so. And that was what won us the game, because that was what enabled us to set up our slug potential. That is what gave us an alternative win condition, and that was how we won. And I really want to put some emphasis on that alternative win condition by slugging, because I had the choice not to slug. After I had downed Ada, when I had Ash nearby, I could have let him go for the hook. I could have chose to let that trade happen, right? I could have picked up Ada, carried him to the same hook, gotten another pain resonance, maybe gotten some other free injury tags. But at the end of the day, I'm probably not going to be able to slug if I do that. I'm probably going to enable them to break to other sides of the map. They're going to be able to get the resets off. And from that point, we're just playing a regular conventional match of DBD. I lose the opportunity to win by slugging. I have to now create a new win condition. And even though I've gotten a couple free hooks, you know, all I've gotten is a couple hooks. And I'm still Clown. I still am vulnerable in my lack of mobility. These survivors also, as you notice, they do have boons, right? So instead of Gabe sitting on the hook and dying on the hook and being unable to set up his circle of healing and his exponential, he may get exponential set up now. This is choosing if I choose not to slug. He gets reset, he puts it on one side of the map. I decide I need to win by slugging. They're inside the radius of the exponential. They start picking themselves up. They break to the other side of the map. They now go from injury to heal. They finish the rest of their generators. They get out because of that, right? Things could have gone in a completely different direction if I didn't choose to slug, and it was only because of the fact that I had Blood Favor that I was able to slug to begin with, because that was what denied them from dropping certain pallets. It was what denied them from being able to break away together from a certain part of the map. It probably would have extended the chases long enough for them to finish the generators near the center staircases, because they were very, very intent on doing so. And that is my whole point about why this is a problem, right? When it comes to RPD's map design. Because I feel like, at least when it comes to playing Clown, and I feel like this applies especially to other killers, maybe on the lower tier, you shouldn't, your chance of doing well on the map shouldn't hinge on your decision to bring a very specific perk. It's one thing to say, oh, bring a perk that's in a certain category, right? A perk for chase and or a perk for gen regression, things like that, right? When it comes to helping in micro and macro on some of the more challenging maps. I totally get that idea. But it is a problem when you hone in specifically on individual perks, right? Because again, this is not a problem that I felt like could have been solved by Q. This is not a problem that could have been solved by Rapid Brutality, save the best for last, right? Again, remember that Ashley, who was body blocking, was also the obsession. This was specifically Blood Favor. Blood Favor and Undying too, obviously, because Undying duplicated that. And that is the problem. They need to remove a couple of these pallets. They need to make some of the pallets more playable while pre-dropped. And then I think when it comes to these lower tier killers, especially Clown, you factor in their downsides, and the game is not just a boring loss beyond survivors misplaying. Because again, even looking at this match, right, even though Blood Favor set up so much for us, even though survivors did kind of play into it, I feel like, were they not so greedy? Were they not so altruistic? And were they also probably just more cautious of my speed? They probably wouldn't have given me the 4-man slug. They probably would have given me at least 2 or 3. But I don't necessarily think, right, that this was an entire loss for them had they not fully played into it. But I think that just about wraps everything up. This is, a match that I was actually very excited to kind of cover in a way, more in hindsight. I hate playing on RPD, but whenever I do happen to have to, and I get something that I can talk and teach about, that does make me very happy. If you're interested in learning how to play Clown better, I have a very detailed Clown guide. I'll be sure to link in the description. And also, I've been taking a bit of a break from DBD, but whenever I do stream, I actually do stream live on Twitch during the weekdays. So usually Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday are when you can expect to find me when I am playing DBD. I'll have a link to my stream in the description as well. And lastly, if you really like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe, not just for yourself so you know when I post new videos, but also because it helps me out a lot with the YouTube algorithm. It makes it to where my videos get pushed to more people, and thus, I'm able to talk about the game and help more people learn about it. So other than that, I hope y'all really enjoyed this video. I want to see y'all next time. Later, gang.